Hey y'all, it's your girl Destinnee with the Blinded Truth podcast, Truth Shot, and I got another one for you today. Let's get one thing straight. You are not broken. You're just unfinished in places you've been taught to hide. I'm gonna let that sit with you for a little bit. And today, we're going there, okay? Yeah, we are. The parts of you avoid, the parts you shrink, the parts you silence so other people can feel comfortable. Because somewhere along the way, you learned that being loved meant being edited. So, stay with me. So, you started cutting pieces of yourself off, not physically, but emotionally, and probably mentally, spiritually. You learned how to show up as the version you that gets accepted, not the version of you that's real. And now you're exhausted because pretending is expensive, honey. Okay? It costs you peace, it costs identity, it costs authenticity. Let me tell you, something that might shake you a little. The parts of you hate the most are often the parts that hold your power. I'm going to say it again. It's often the parts that hold your power. That anxiety, that overthinking, that intensity, that sensitivity you've been told is too much. That's not weakness, child. That's unrefined strength. But because nobody taught you how to hold it, you started hiding it. Because people don't celebrate what they don't understand. And instead of learning yourself, you abandon yourself. This is speaking so deep to me. All right, let's continue to talk about it. Stay with me, okay? Let's talk about the version of you that shows up in survival mode. That one who over explains, the one who people pleases, the one who shuts down instead of speaking up, the one who says, I'm fine, when everything inside of you is screaming, I'm not. You think that version of you is the problem, but it's not. That version of you, it saved you. Yeah, it saved you. That version of you was built in environments where being your full self wasn't safe. So you adapted, like we always do. You learned how to read the room. You learned how to stay small. You learned how to survive. And now you're mad at yourself for surviving the only way you knew how. You don't get to do that. I mean, you can, but we're not doing that anymore. Okay? You don't heal by hating the version of you that kept you alive. You heal by understanding her or him, by thanking them, by evolving them. Because healing isn't becoming someone new. Healing is returning to who you were before the world told you who to be. Let's get a little bit deeper, okay? Because some of you aren't afraid of failure. You're afraid of being seen. I said it. I said it. Seen in your truth, seen in your flaws, seen in your contradictions. Because what if they don't accept you? What if they walk away? What if loving you comes with conditions? So now let me ask you something. What's more dangerous, right? Being rejected by others or abandoning yourself? Because every time you silence your voice to keep the peace, every time you shrink yourself to fit into spaces you've outgrown, every time you pretend you're okay when you're not, you're choosing to abandon. You're choosing abandonment. You self-abandonment. And you wonder why you feel disconnected. Duh, you wonder why you feel empty. You wonder why no matter how many people are around you, you still feel alone. And it's because you're not being you. And people can't love a version of you that doesn't exist. So let's talk more about those parts, right? The messy parts, the angry parts, the jealous parts, the insecure parts, the parts you judge, the parts you try to bury, the parts you pray nobody ever sees. What if I told you those parts are not your enemy? They're messengers. Oh my gosh. Your anger isn't telling you something crossed your boundaries. Your jealousy, it's revealing what you truly desire. And your insecurities, it's pointing to wounds that you need attention, not rejection. But instead of listening, you shame them. You suppress them. You pretend they're not there. And what you suppress will always resurface in some shape or form. So here's the shift. Instead of asking, how do I get rid of this part of me? Start asking, what is this part of me trying to teach me? That's where the growth is. That's where the transformation happens. Because you can't heal what you won't acknowledge. And you can't love what you refuse to see. And you definitely can't become whole by rejecting pieces of yourself. Wholeness is not perfection, wholeness is integration. Okay? It's learning how to sit with yourself without trying to fix yourself. It's learning how to hold your truth without apologizing for it. It's learning how to say, this is me, not perfect, not polished, but real. And real is powerful. Let me challenge you. What part of you are you still hiding? Is it your voice, your story, your past, your emotions, your truth? What is it? And who taught you that part of you wasn't worthy of love? Because I promise you, that belief didn't start with you. It was learned, conditioned, passed down, and we sometimes don't recognize it. That a lot of stuff is passed down. And what is learned can be unlearned. But you've got to be willing to meet yourself where you are, not where you think you should be. Because perfection is a moving target. You reach one level and then there's another expectation, another standard, another version of not enough. You will exalt yourself chasing a version of you that was never real to begin with. You are not meant to be perfect. Wholeness requires you to embrace the contradictions, to accept that you can be strong and struggling, confident and insecure, healing and still hurting. That doesn't make you. It doesn't make you fake. That makes you human. And there is power in that. Because when you stop hiding your imperfections, you give other people permission to do the same. You create space, real space, for connection, for authenticity, for truth. And that's where real relationships are built, not in perfection, but in honesty. Let me say this. You don't have to become someone else to be worthy. You don't have to prove your value by performing. You don't have to earn love by being perfect. You are already enough. Not when you're trying to fix everything, and not when you get it all together, not when you finally feel ready. Right now, as you are, flaws and all. But here's the part nobody talks about. Loving yourself isn't always soft. Whew. Sometimes it looks like accountability. Sometimes it looks like discipline. And sometimes it looks like facing parts of yourself you'd rather avoid. It's ghetto. Loving yourself is ghetto. But it's worth it because loving yourself doesn't mean letting yourself stay stuck. It means being honest enough to grow. It means saying, I accept myself and I'm committed to becoming better. That's real self love. Not just affirmations, not just bubble baths, but transformation. So today, I want you to stop running, stop hiding, stop pretending, and start embracing. Start listening, start loving every part of you, even the parts you're afraid to face. Because those parts, they don't make you less, they make you real. They make you human. They make you perfectly imperfect. A good friend of mine and my podcast, one of my podcast engineers, is she did an audacity training. And I challenge you to do an audacity training and love yourself because being perfectly imperfect is where it's at. And that is power. So remember, your destiny is by choice, not by chance. Until next time, keep walking in your truth. Bye.